Good morning, everybody. Afternoon. Next day, Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Get this banner stopped. Yeah, so we've got quite a group today. 12 people so far. Good morning to everybody. Switch camera views so everybody can wave to Mr. Rocky. Yeah. All right. There's Rocky. Say hello, everybody, to Rocky. I'll go back to the full screen again. Yeah. So let's see. How was everybody today? We got Brad, Willow Creek Industrial Spur here from the future again. Looks like it's 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday in New Zealand. Anfield Road. Let's see. Anfield Road layout in the loft. Welcome. My brother Dan is here. Pete, my local compatriot and fellow Duck fan. Hey, got JP, Southern Pacific and the Inland Empire. We've got Wesley from Shanda West. And, yep, he is ready to discuss track planning paralysis, which probably aptly describes where I'm at. Dwight's here. Everybody in the house. Andy, hot dog pilot Andy, got the other side of the continent covered. It must be probably close to 5 p.m. on Saturday where Andy is at. Todd Armstrong. Got Todd Armstrong here, trackside action. So, yeah. We got a lot of the regulars here. Thank you to everybody. I wanted to cover one thing first. Many of you know John Tanzillo, if I'm saying his name correctly. He's still in the hospital. He's been able to use his phone to post a few shorts. I think I haven't posted this in the Evanston subdivision Facebook group yet, but if everybody could post a photo, train related with some kind of get well soon card to John, and then post that back in the Facebook group, I think that would be awesome. John normally is posting a lot of photos up there every single week. In fact, he if I hadn't initially cut back some of the photos I was doing before, his photos would dominate the entire layout photo show. But never want to see somebody down. But I think he has his phone. So um, hey John, if you're watching this, you probably aren't. But if you are, get well soon, my friend. And we're hoping to see you back and on your feet soon. Okay, that taken care of. Another thing, Mike Smith, Roy Smith's son, posted they're still going through all those trials and tribulations of getting his father's and I think stepmother's affairs settled in Panama. Uh, and then he's got all the trains in the U.S. with him now. And his plans are to get those to layouts and museums and or close friends of Roy's. Um, and then I think he's also keeping one of those or a couple of those for himself because he's not a model railroader. Um, oh, Closet Branch is here. Didn't even see you sneak in. Welcome. Oh, wrong one. Hello, Closet Branch, and be sure. I haven't yet got my. I haven't got your thing. I've got it in a box. Ready to go. I need to tape it up and pack it well, but we'll be getting these things out to you soon if work and life don't interfere too much. Same with Steve. I watched your most recent show, Steve. Getting back on track with Steve. Um, he had that. Yeah. So let's see. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Not fun times, but if you can, well, it's a lot more difficult when the person's not even in the same country. Anyways, what are we talking about today? Since we just spewed through the first 8 minutes of the show. Um, yeah, so just to give some thoughts to what to do about layout planning. Since I'm starting to make progress getting up to the mid level of the layout, I have initial parts of the woodworking done, or and then we'll go from there. Um, I've got a program that I use. I think it's the same one that Roy uses, but those of us on a Mac use this over some of the other programs that are available out there for track planning. Let me go over to change the view for us. And so, switch over there now. Now, you probably can't see this, but this is over 10 feet long on this wall here. Probably goes out to, I think, about 11 feet for this peninsula. So over on, if you could see my mouse, let me see if people can see my comments. Yep. So, and you walk into the room over on this far left side. You come in all the way down, and there's some windows down at the end of this peninsula. And then this describes at least what I think I'm going to do for the woodworking for the middle, for the peninsula on the middle level. So, or level 1 or level 2, wherever you are in the world, however you refer to that first floor up from the base floor. I put some track down here, but this is just to noodle around and figure out. I used in this design, well, not really design. This is just a simple thing. What's the other measurement here along this other wall? Let's see, 15 feet. So almost 15 feet of straight run. My initial thoughts are coming down this bottom right corner is coming off of the helix and going back to the helix. This whole transition area, this is about that 10 feet long, is going to be maybe there'll be an industry or something here, like maybe a sawmill or something along the way that gives us some track switching opportunities. Maybe since I have right hand running, we'll see if I actually make some crossovers here so we can get over to that to do the switching. How big are the grid squares? The grid squares are 6 inches by 6 inches. I believe that's right. Yeah. Is that right? Let's see. It might be 1 foot squares. Yeah. 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 1 foot squares. I was thinking back to the diagrams that are offered in the layout planning books, which I have a mini. So let's see. Looks like 1 foot squares. Yep. Will it go around in a circle? Yeah. So basically, it'll come off the helix, which is coming up from the track that you've seen my trains run on below, which is the staging level. And the staging level actually allows trains to run in a big circle, as well as switch off and come up the helix. The helix is right in this area. If you can see my mouse. So let's just put like a big shape there. So the helix is roughly right here. Actually, it's not that close. It's more like almost 3 feet clearance between the two. Yeah, these are not exact here. It actually comes out farther than this, but just to give you a general idea, the helix is right in this area, and the right hand running is gonna take us along this far north wall to the west wall, where I'm thinking there'll be a yard here. So this will be the first major city area here. And then come across and go up to the main peninsula, which is also some long running. And again, this is just reference. It's not going to be like a big oval, but it'll be kind of like this, because what I want to do is have dual track, dual main lines, and then come down, switch back, and then the right hand running, which is that's this inside one. It'll come up, it'll go up. So it might have to start going up some more sooner to make this grade, but make the grade go up and over here maybe, or I might use a tighter circle radius here. But right now this is 481 millimeters, which is what I think 19 inches That's a 19-inch radius for N scale. That's fairly good size. Let's see. Oh, we don't see your mouse moving around. Oh, that sucks. Um, okay then. I'll have to figure something out. What's my train length and how did you decide it? Great question. Closet Ranch Depth. Um, I haven't really decided train length yet. Train length is probably going to be dictated by if I need passing sidings, but for right now, um, I'm doing dual I'm doing dual main lines, so I won't necessarily need passing sidings, but um, one thing is I will be running some of the passenger trains in. I've seen that at least the some of the ones that I have probably are a good 8 feet long. Those passenger trains aren't short, so finding a place for a passing siding for that is yeah. So staging, I can do quite long trains. In fact, I've got this entire under this left-hand peninsula that you can see on the left-hand side here. That is all staging, and there's 10 tracks there, and they're not all the same length. The inner ones tend to be shorter than the outer ones, and at least one or two of those tracks will be left open to facilitate running trains around. So I probably have about 8 tracks of staging there, and then I've got another 4 tracks in the middle of that peninsula that are stub ended, so you can back into those or push cars into those to have additional places for trains. And then under this place where it says yard in the upper part, if you can see that, and I'm gonna have to figure out why people can't see my mouse. Let's see. Switch windows back because I'm over in StreamYard right now. So let's put a shape down. And let's make that shape be what color? Fill color, let's make it be red. All right, can everybody see the red circle now? Oh, I don't see it. Oh, I know what's happening. It's not refreshing. It's not refreshing. In fact, you don't even see that part. Okay. Technology problems. Let me see if I switch transition. No, I think the problem is not doing desktop sharing. Huh. Okay. I obviously picked the wrong thing in OBS to share the desktop. Let's see. Cinema layout. Can we do this in... Let's see if we could do this. slot. No. I'm not going to try to do this real time. So, let's just to give us a general idea of where the track plan is at. I'll try to figure out how to correctly give us some things in the future. But let's go back over to the camera view here. where we got Rocky set up here. Rocky's gonna move aside, and this big book here I bought some years ago when I started thinking the Great Northern Railway, and this is just inspirational stuff, but when I bought it, I never thought that I would find this inside. And this is actual timetables for the Empire Builder. So somebody had left this. Actually, somebody put a price on there. It was $10. Which these are probably. I'm assuming these are all free at the time, so it's kind of cool. Make sure that I've got. Yeah, we'll get back to that a different time. But I wanted to go through some of the books. So those timetables. This is kind of cool. This year, I think, and there's a map. There's that map, which maps. This thing doesn't fall apart. It's really falling apart. The map that's on the inside of the book there, or a similar one. It's actually a different one. Let me see if I can see a year on this. New York. There's got the officers for everything. I know I found the date at one point. There's an entire index of every single city that's here. Yeah, and I don't see. I think this was in the 1930s or 1940s. It even gives you which train numbers. Like for example, this westbound, there's a whole section on the equipment. It tells you train number 24, the Badger Express, air conditioned. So that probably tells you this is more modern than not. And this is St. Paul, Minneapolis to Superior, Duluth. And it tells you parlor, it tells you coaches and all that. Yeah. I don't see the date here. I thought there was at least a date somewhere in here. Anyways, it's like a departure. But yeah, that was some kind of unexpected thing I found in this book. And this book goes through a lot of stuff. It's called a picture book, and you can see just by the era here that you've got. This is in 1968, so you don't have the orange and green ones. If this was in color, this would be that big sky blue, I think, is right there. But yeah, so there's got a lot of inspirational things in here, including a lot of cool trestle work here. And this side is an 1898 photo of the original Great Northern Switchbacks over the Cascades. So initially, before the tunnels were open over the Cascades, they had to do switchbacks to get over the grade. So they would run in one direction and then reverse up another section and then run back another section. It's interesting. if you've been out in this area, the Mount Hood Railroad does one switchback to go up to where it needs to go. Uh, Anyhow, this stuff is kind of cool. A lot of information in here, including diagrams and measurements. You've got catenary wire here, where they had catenary wire up in the section that went into Seattle. So that was wired. And what that allowed them to do, they had those run some of these right here, which were called class Y1. And they were electric powered, and that allowed them to get through the tunnels before there were tunnel motors, before there was diesel in use. But they would go through the tunnels because you run a steam engine through the tunnels, you got a lot of problems. So, yeah, a lot of. I have. This is just one of many books that I've collected over the time, and actually, there's a lot of these that are available. Well, not a lot, but at used bookstores, some of them have them because over time, um, over time, libraries have been getting rid of these kind of coffee book kind of books and getting them out of their collections to make room for other things. And so you can find these. This particular one does not have a library stamp on it, but I do have several books on the Pacific Northwest railroads that do have those. So they are a good source of finding out for how things went in the past. Um, I've got a lot of other books. Yeah, looks like from the early 50s. I think it goes that particular book traces things all the way back for the Great Northern, back to its beginnings. Um, and that's the title of that book is The Great Northern Railway, a pictorial study by Charles and Dorothy Wood. So I wanted to go over, I'm not going to get too many details here, but I do tend to collect a lot of Kalmbach publishing books. Here's one on shelf layouts, and in here, if I can find it, should have marked these out, is kind of my inspiration for how my layout mounts to the wall. So you've got that shelf bracket here. Here's the bracket that these things slide into on the wall, and then you've got the individual shelf fixture that slides into those slots, and then I made wood pieces that slide over the top of these. Now, I didn't want it exactly this way, so think about this as this wood is flipped over. And then I drilled 1/4-inch holes, 2 of them, through this bracket to be able to hold the wood onto that bracket. So why did I do that? What I didn't want to do was have this bracket, like it shows in this picture, what they're doing in this particular one. They have the bracket here. It's got 2 modules on either side, but it's sitting down. So I didn't want to have this part of the stuff 3 inches further down into the area below. So I made it so that I could embed the shelf bracket within the benchwork. That does have some limitations. It's a little bit wider now between the places where you shouldn't want to be drilling, where you can't drill down through now. But there's just trade-offs that you deal with. So yeah, this kind of shelf layouts one is kind of cool. This one doesn't have a whole lot of, well, there's a plan for HO scale. But I usually use these for just thinking about inspirational stuff about, okay, what could my individual scenes look like? Um, Here's another one by Tony Kester. I've got that name right. Building multi-deck levels. This is a lot more advanced than what I'm going to do. I don't have this kind of experience where you're going to walk through and have up and down at different levels and have things like this, but it will be somewhat similar to that. But it does bring out some important details about when you have multi-deck, when you're designing multi-deck, that sometimes you don't want to have all the decks come out. They're not going to all be the same width because you don't want to necessarily obscure eyesight or eye lines. So, or sight lines, including there's some mock-ups somebody did in here with an actual shelf. And there's one talking about helixes. Yeah, so this particular picture right here, this gentleman, Steve King, he just used a bookcase with that you could adjust the shelf heights on, and he put his trains and such on there, and then from where he's standing, he can then see in real life instead of trying to think about it from some kind of cartoon kind of view. But you can see if you leave all the things coming out to the same distance, that eye your eye lines from where you're standing won't necessarily, you're going to be obscuring parts of the back of these things, including this bottom level where like most of it is obscured. So if you want to have scenery and things to catch your eyes on every level, then you need to set back some. And a lot of people who have multi-level layouts, they end up doing that uh, just to so they can still see and still get access to the different levels. So I forget exactly what my heights are. I have to go back and measure them. In fact, that'd be a good thing to include in another thing about actual how I'm going about doing these things. Um, yeah, so there's that one, and then there's that's 101. Oh, this was the original one by this guy is pretty infamous, along with John Anderson, I think. Lynn Westcott was one of the big guys to gather up plans. And amazingly, even though you don't think model railroads is that popular, somehow a lot of uh, armchair layout designers bought over 500,000 when this thing was last published. Yeah, so there's all kinds of plans in here. I had to cherry pick these things because most of these are designed for walkarounds or island ones that you're going to walk into. But I am using all of these as kind of inspirational ideas about how can I design the various industries and scenery around. Okay, let's see. John JP is got my lower level is 24 inches and 20 inches deep at 48 inches high, with upper at 12 and 16 at 60. For 6'2", that works good for me. Yeah, well, I used to be 5'11", probably shorter now as age has compressed me down to maybe 5'10". But yeah, I'll be about in the same range as that. So I've got a lot of these books, including every year. Comeback now, was it Firebrand Media, um, is actually releasing more of these things. They have an annual that they set out. I don't know if I've got that. Look over here. Yeah, the 2024 model railroad planning. Uh, Also good ones to go and pick up. Big space, no free time. Somebody, this looks like somebody did this outside. Um, yeah, so there's lots of things to derive inspiration from. Um, and look there, there's somebody who's done some stuff in Kato Unitrack. So I think two people out there. I probably will not use a lot of on the first level. I used Kato Unitrack. I probably won't be using a lot of Kato on the other levels because um, it does come in a lot of different sizes. Switch of views, transition. So I probably won't be using Kato for this next level. I know I've got that in that track plan. I used Kato there, but that was merely to derive. It's a sectional. You don't have to mess around with getting the flex track bent correctly. But yeah, I will probably not be using Kato there. Yep, that's absolutely right, JP. That's what I looked at too. And also, Pete, yeah, that's the idea he got his from with that multi-deck designing building multi-deck model railroads by Tony Kester. And if many of you might have the subscription to model railroader, which finally my subscriptions are coming back again. Yep. And this month's December is actually kind of interesting. For those of you who are fans of Rod Stewart, this one features his layout in here. So he's got some amazing work in here. Yep. So an HO and a musician. It says even he's done a lot of the buildings in here. So yeah, we come from all walks of life as model railroaders, and which is the reason why I think model railroading actually appeals to so many people, because there's so many different things to do. You could be a woodworker, you could be an electrician, you can be an artist, or you could be none of those. It just, hey, I just want to run trains and do things. So close up this thing by saying to the people, the winners from the giveaway, I will be getting those things into the mail at some point. I am hoping for this week before Thanksgiving. And then before our next show, which will be after Black Friday craziness, what do we got planned for next week? I don't know exactly. I just kind of make these things up. I don't have a big plan, but I might be. I said I was going to run some trains. Um, and it's the last week of the month, so we'll probably be running trains. So that's what we'll be doing next week. If I keep to my habitual thing of running trains the last weekend of the month. So that'll be the 30th, last day of November. And then the following week will be layout photos. And again, if you're on Facebook, put together it would be cool if people could do is take that picture, put some kind of card. I don't know how this all work out, but just mention that so it'll be in the photo about John Tenzillo, and because he's in the hospital and will be through uh, Thanksgiving. So if you got those things up there, they'll show up in the Facebook group and maybe John will see them. And if not, there'll be photos up there. They'll be included in the following layout show. Will you're doing better went a little longer and show and tell good. Okay. Yes, Dwight. I know he's still in the hospital. Um, my thoughts are out to him. I'm hoping that we can post some photos up in the Facebook group to let him know we're all thinking about him beyond our interactions with him in his short videos he's released. And then those photos could actually get included in the next layout photos that we'll have running next month. So that's been my thought about that, Dwight. That good call out. Do people have Thanksgiving themed cars? Well, I have one, so I'll be running a short train on a short video. Um, how many iterations? How many iterations of your layout have you designed and or built? This is the third iteration. So the first iteration was in our townhouse in the garage. I started with part of the left-hand bay. I decided to move that from the left-hand bay to the right-hand bay where it got larger. I think it had it was like normal car size stuff. So it was like 8 feet by 20 feet. And then I've got some photos that I posted over time from that. So in this home that's new to me is the third iteration of the layout. And it's been fairly slow going. Been in this house 3 years. Didn't really start getting the layout progress until I think 2 years ago. And I'm fairly slow. The other problem when you build around the wall and you want it anchored to the wall, then you're beholden to how good the craftsmanship of the wall builders were about keeping things square. And it turns out they're not that good about it. So there are some just discrepancies in what you think should be an exact square layout in everything coming together correctly. So that can lead to some subtle and not so subtle aggravations. But so that this is the path that I'm on. I'm not tearing this down. If I did, I need to order a dumpster and start dumping stuff into it to restart. No, I'm not doing that. I do have a convenient thing though. If I could not break the windows and they were small enough pieces, I could just park the dumpster out in front of the house, I don't think they would do it though. My driveway is inclined, so yeah. That's all quite okay, Dwight. Sometimes we don't type or we don't get our thoughts down in our typing into these things the way that we're thinking we do. That is fine with me. The layout can flow like the real thing has to. Yeah. So we just deal with things as they come up, and mainly about my track planning. I'll say this: it's more that you know I think even though I don't know if people followed Steve Brown, but that regular guy kind of thing. While I wouldn't think I was a regular guy, I kind of think I'm an irregular guy. Um, I tend to not. I tend to not. I need to be more than just visualization. I need to have stuff. I need to start putting track down. I don't have a lot of experience in um, how like switches and yards should be put together. That's why I get a lot of books here to actually make sure that I'm not painting myself into a corner. But in order to help with that, the Kato Unitrack is sometimes really helpful because you can lay this all down on a table or something and start to visualize, okay, what's going to work and what's not going to work. So, okay, Dwight's making a second run at it. What I was trying to say, today. You did good today and showed some more good stuff. Thank you, Dwight, as always. Cheers to you. And also, I didn't mention, but mom is out there watching, she said. So, hi to mom. Brother Dan is here. Looks like we got up to a pretty solid 13 people today. So, if everybody can give the thumbs up, like, and I know you're all subscribed. And again, one last thing, let's send our thoughts and out to John Tenzillo as he's going through stuff still in the hospital and will be for another week or so, at least. That's all he knows right now, according to his short. So, if he's watching, hi, John, get better, get well soon. All y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Don't get into turkey coma, uh, but enjoy friends and family and eating. And that'll wrap up show number 13, episode 13. Rocky off the rails. Great. I have to say bye. Okay. Rocky says bye. Okay. No more quotes for this show. I got some good laughs of my Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. But yeah, I'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. See y'all.